What is up, everybody, and welcome to Iron Vlog number 202. Look at that. Been doing it a while. Guys, I got the most comments of my life today on today's video, which was yesterday's for me. But for the rest of you guys, it was today's video. Holy fuck. It was pretty awesome. I'm really glad you guys came out here and were so interested in how I'm problem solving this. So after reading all of you guys' comments and doing a lot of thinking on it today and really just trying to get in here and really just play with it. That's really what it took. I think I figured out how to make this thing fit. So one thing I did, well, actually I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with showing you how it kind of works. So let's go in here. I'm going to drive this joint and I'm going to pull it over. If you didn't see yesterday's video, what I had problems with was a lot of interference with this was essentially running into the neck and running into a bunch of other stuff over here when the arm came up at 90 degrees. That's what was happening. So if you look now, though, you'll see that that does not appear to be the case. So for starters, why the fuck is that doing that? So as you can see here, it's not interfering right now. But if I take this joint down here on the arm, there's still like a little bit of interference here. And essentially what I did to fix this is I just went through it and started just kind of changing things and moving things around, and just like it was kind of weird. It almost felt like back when I was in high school and I used to work with clay a lot because I liked art. It felt like that. It literally felt like I was almost molding with clay. It had like a similar feeling to me. This software is really intuitive, and everything is kind of contingent on the stuff that came in the history before it. So by changing one thing, it kind of changed everything upstream, and it really helped. And so one of the big things I did is I took this part right here, which is this like sliding joint. You can see a little better on the other side because it's not a bunch of stuff over it. This joint right here, which there's me in the suit. It wraps around the glenohumeral joint, which is your shoulder joint. Moves to the center of that. So I took that and I made it bigger, and then I took it and kind of rotated it to where it was a little bit more up here. And I did that mostly to keep from running into the arm, my arm from running into it, because that was something that I was actually worried about too, because of like the arm kind of stops like right here, so it's still going to hit it a little bit. It might be a little bit uncomfortable to bring my arm all the way up, but I still want to have the ability to do that. So yeah, I did that, and then I took this internal joint here, which is, it's kind of hard to see, but there's this a joint that rotates around the sternoclavicular joint, which is right there. And here there's two of those. And so I took that and I made it smaller, which kind of brought everything in tighter, and then also kind of brought things forward, which was nice because I was having a little bit of issues with maybe being able to fit into the suit this way, especially when I put on this other scan, which is I'm a little bit bigger in because my arms are down. Like you can see here, this is actually touching my shoulder a little bit right now, but that's because my shoulders are back a little bit. So it should be okay. But so that was an issue as well. So I brought that forward a little bit, and then making this part in here smaller kind of brought it in a little bit as well. And then so I did all that. And then one thing I changed, which is this is kind of a nutty one, but after I did that, made that bigger, it caused another issue, which I had to address as well, which is if I take this shoulder joint here and I drive it, and I'm going to pull it down like so. That's about good. And if we look in here, this part right here, so this is the part that slides inside of that shoulder joint I was referring to. It comes down, and then you'll notice this strut comes straight down, but the other one would have been going through here, and it would have been interfering with this. So I took it and so this one runs underneath, which is out of the way of everything, and then this smaller one now runs on top, so that it doesn't interfere with that. I know there's a lot going on with this thing because it's all like really tight. I mean, it is super tight in here. It's kind of crazy, actually. It's like very organic looking, kind of cool and kind of ridiculous at the same time. But I made this. This is one of the smallest struts I'm going to use in the entire suit because I really don't want a lot of protrusion in here, because in this gap in here is where the exomuscles are going to run, which is my actuators, and I don't want anything really, I want it to be smooth and soft in there so it doesn't cut anything. So the idea is to weld this in and then really file it down to where it'll be nice and rounded in there once I get it in there. So that happened. And then one of the first things I tried, which was I think Travis's idea to begin with, is one of my fans commented in there. His idea was to make this joint a little smaller, and I did that initially, but because this point down here is like a singularity, not a singularity, it's like a single point of like out essentially. So by making this arc a little smaller, I'm not sure it actually reduced the distance of this really at all. So I think what I'm probably going to do, and I was going to do it tonight now, but if I'm looking at the time, it's like almost 1 in the morning now. So I don't really think I have time to do it right now. I got to get this video out. I was going to do it, but I'll probably do it first thing tomorrow. I think I'm going to take this back out to 80 degrees. This is up to about 120 degrees right now. So I gave that a try, and I thought that would help, and then I realized it doesn't really seem to help because this point over here still has to essentially come out as far as it does anyway. So I think I'm going to leave it how it is, or, well, I'm leaving it how it is right now, but I think I'm going to go back to how it was at 180 degrees, which is more how this leg piece down here is. This leg piece is wrapped out at 180 degrees. This is much larger because it's on the leg, but like that. I know there's a lot of gray in here, so it might be a little bit hard to see. But this part in here, I think I'm gonna bring it back out to about 180, which gives it more rotation and it makes it stronger. Because right now I have to have 90 degrees of sweep inside of here, which means all of the 60 degrees all had to come out of this part right here. And this right here is not even. This is only allows for would allow for 80 right now because I actually opened this one up a little bit because I was thinking about opening it a little bit more and not bringing it all the way to 180, but I think I'm going to bring it back all the way to 180 because it wouldn't even be as big as it is right now, and that's a little bit small for me. It's like only 2 or 3 inches across that piece right there, so I think I want to do that a little bit better. So, and the last thing that needs to happen, which I'm going to do a little bit later on because things may move a little bit in the meantime, is we take this joint and we drive it, which is the internal rotational joint of the arm, and I drive it here. You'll see there is a little bit of interference right there where that's going through, so a part of this is going to have to be cut out, and in order to accommodate that and maybe loop in a little bit over here, give it a little bit more extra reinforcement. I'll probably leave this one down here right where it is, but this one over here is going to change. So that also has to happen in order to get this. Like I said, this thing is just like eking out the far limits of like the range of motion of this thing, which is both really cool and kind of annoying at the same time because it's like, god damn, this thing is like it's like just doesn't want to like fucking. I'm having to fight for every inch on this thing, guys. It's kind of nuts, but it's working. One other thing I had to do is when I moved this in, it kind of moved this back a little bit, and it moved the entire apparatus forward a little bit. And when I did that, of course, this was now hitting that, so I had to move this part. The plane that's this part had to come down. So that's that rotational joint of the internal and external rotation of the shoulder joint. So when that swings up, this was hitting that, so I had to bring this down, which means this is now really far down the body, or down the arm rather. So if we switch back over, this is on the arm, the actual file of the arm, you'll see this is actually getting really close to the elbow joint. Right now, it's about where I had the old one. I don't have it open or I would show you, but I measured from here to the shoulder joint. This is about, well, when I get the other one on, it'll be right about where the other one was. So the Draft 4 version of this, and I was able to get the Draft 4 version to completely close on the elbow, so I think it'll work. And then worst case, I have to push the joint, the ring joint of this, maybe a little bit further down the arm. That might have to happen, but I think this will work. But I have to put another second sliding joint below this one. And so, but now it's going to go like right below this one. So the idea before is these parts right in here there's going to be a bar that came through, and then there's going to be a bolt that holds them together, and kind of bolts that on. I may end up having to come up with another solution for how to do that because I literally almost don't have enough room to put a bolt through there because I can't really. The bolt diameter that I need for this has got to be, it needs a tolerance of about 0.421 inches. So I need about 0.421 between this and the next plate, which might not work. So I may have to get clever in there. Right now I have like these 2 spots here, but I may have to end up doing some kind of other clever mechanism for how to put this thing, add this piece to this piece, because this gets bolted on after I'm in the suit. So may have to get clever with that. I'm not entirely sure, but so guys, it seems like I have that officially figured out, which is great because I thought that was going to be a problem when I figured it out yesterday. And it really did just take a lot of like really the answer essentially, because we were all trying to figure it out today, was essentially just kind of taking it and tuning it and kind of moving a little bit here and a little bit here, and like, okay, if I move this, now I got to move this, and it just like, and it's kind of nutty because it's going between two different files, and it's a crazy thing I'm trying to build. That's kind of the gist of it. It really is absurd. Like, it's amazing. I think when people see this thing and they actually like look at it and like, oh my god, it clears everything. It's like, you really thought of it all. Fuck yeah, I did. With your guys' help. Again, I am really kind of touched that you guys commented so much yesterday. I literally had like 22 comments and like 13 views. Like, it's crazy. That's like unheard of in YouTube to have that many comments. To have more comments than views, for starters. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, it looks like it's going to come together, and like I said, it really just was just like a little bit about tweaking everything. It wasn't like any one thing. And one thing that seemed like a good idea, like reducing the size of that outer slider joint, reducing that, which seemed like a good idea, maybe actually ended up not affecting it as much as it seemed like it should. So you know, most of it had to be moved around on the torso, and then once I moved stuff on the torso, I had to move stuff on the arm to accommodate the movement on the torso. So it's all kind of weird. So it's moving along. I'm still sick, unfortunately. Still have the fucking flu. I think it's day 8 I've had the flu. Sucks. The flu sucks. Don't get it. Don't make out with people. You don't want to do that. It gets you sick. You guys are great. I'm glad we got this resolved. I hope you guys, after all those comments today, are excited that we got it resolved, and hopefully we'll be moving on down the limbs, and hopefully the further we get away from like all the mass that is the trunk, hopefully it'll get easier. Hopefully. That, I've pretty much assembled like a full working, like the one from last time of like the elbow joint seemed to work pretty well. I keep saying this and I keep running into interference issues, so where's some wood I can knock on, or drywall, that works too. You guys are great. I love you guys. Smash the subscribe button if you're new. If you are new, you're probably like, what is this motherfucker rambling about? That suit is crazy. What did I just watch? That's why you should hit the subscribe button. I love you guys. Have a good one.